This is section 3.2, Quadratic Functions. In this video, we're going to go through number 57 in your book, and in this problem, it gives us this function, it's asking us to graph it. Alright, so in order to graph this function, first we need to find a bunch of values, but then once we find all these values, we can plot them on our graph, and then it actually becomes really easy to sketch the graph of this function. So starting off with the first thing that they're asking us for, they're asking for the vertex, and if you remember, the vertex is represented by hk, where h is equal to negative b over 2a, and k is just the y value that corresponds to whatever we find here. So to find our h, we're going to do negative b, or in this case, negative 5, over 2a, or 2 times negative 2. This will give us negative 5 over negative 4, or just 5 over 4. This is our h. To find our k, we're going to plug this h value into our function and see what we get. When we do that, we'll get negative 2 times 5 over 4 squared, plus 5 times 5 over 4 minus 8, and do a bunch of math, solve all this out, and you'll get that k is equal to negative 39 over 8. Beautiful number. Alright, so this means that our vertex is found by the point 5 over 4, negative 39 over 8. Alright, next thing that they're asking for is the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is just that vertical line that cuts a parabola in half, and each side is the same. So that's found by x equals h, or x equals whatever the x coordinate was in our vertex, which in this case is x equals 5 over 4. Alright, next thing they're asking for is our x-intercept. So there's two ways to find the x-intercept. Either you can FOIL it down and solve for your x's that way, or if it's not factorable that way, you can use your quadratic formula. In this case, we can't factor down our formula, so we're going to plug it into our quadratic and see what we get. When we plug all of our values into this quadratic formula, we'll get negative b, or negative 5, plus or minus b squared, which is 25, minus 4 times negative 2 times negative 8, all over 2a, or 2 times negative 2. Alright, if you were to go through and solve all this out, you'll see that under this radical here, you'll end up getting a negative number. And that can't happen. So that means that since there's a negative under the radical, there's no solution to this, and there's no x-intercepts for this function. Alright, moving on to the y-intercepts. Y-intercepts are wherever x equals 0. So we're just going to plug in 0 for our x and see what we get. When we do that, we'll get 2 times 0, which is just 0, plus 5 times 0, also 0, minus 8. This will leave us with y equals negative 8. So now we have the value 0, negative 8 as one of our intercepts. And the last thing we're going to find is the direction of this parabola. Is it opening up or is it opening down? To find that, you just look at your a value. So this leading term is negative. So since a is negative, that means that it's opening down like that. And now that we have all these things, we can plot it on our graph and graph it pretty easily. So we're going to start with our vertex, which is right here, and plot that. So we have the point 5 over 4, negative 39 over 8, which is somewhere right here. We have our axis of symmetry is at this x value. So we know our parabola is going to be cut in half right here. And we know that our y-intercept is at the point 0, negative 8, which is somewhere over here. And from here, since we know that it's opening down, we can just go ahead and connect these dots and get a pretty rough sketch of what this function will look like. But other than that, that's it. I hope you found this video super helpful. The concepts covered in this video are true no matter what pre-cal class you're in, but in case you're interested, all the sections and problem numbers referenced in this video came from this lovely textbook right here. Remember that if you're a Baylor student, we offer free tutoring on the first floor of Sid Rich at our Success Center. You can either schedule an appointment online or drop in during our business hours for free tutoring in pre-cal, calculus, and a whole lot of other subjects as well. For more information, visit our website.